Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe, a real American hero, Cobra, Baroness. This is one of my classic reviews. We're going to go back in time, take a look at this Baroness, and then you guys can decide whether or not Destro actually deserves to be with this woman. Anyway, we're going to take a look at this. We're going to take a look at the design, the weapons, the backpack, which somehow over time I had an abundance of. I have a feeling, and I can't fully remember, maybe somebody could tell me in the comments. I feel like there was a more modern figure that used the same backpack, maybe a couple of them. So I just had this abundance of them, and I can't tell the difference. You can also know that a lot of times you're going to have a bunch of her rifles. If it flexes, this one does not flex. If it has a lot of flex, it is not the original. So just be careful if you're buying anything and you think that it's complete and you're trying to get an actual vintage. Make sure all those things are correct, that they're not something new or whatever. Anyway, we're going to take a look at her design and everything. And if you're wondering, hey, why are you doing this? I don't understand. Why would someone be doing reviews of figures that are 30 years old in a classic style or I'm sorry, not a classic style, but your style now. It's just looking at these, I thought these are so wonderful as I'm reviewing them compared to the classified that I wanted to go back, take a look at them, and see the designs and stuff that we might have missed. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get onto this video because that's what you came for. But before we do, if you like this type of content, you like the classic reviews I'm doing, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. Alright, so here we have our Baroness, and as I always like to do, I always like to look at the accessories first. Alright, so first off, we're going to take a look at the Cobra backpack, and as you can see here, it is just a Cobra symbol. Now, I do believe this is the right backpack. I could be wrong. I've had so many of these, and I know I still have more, because they believe they've reused this, and I don't remember because this doesn't have anything soft on it. So I think this is the right one. But again, you see this Cobra logo, which actually looks pretty nice. It looks like it has some detail, and this is making me kind of think that maybe it's not the original. If you know, please tell me in the comments. You guys are, some of you guys are just geniuses when it comes to this. But it's just a small little backpack. I don't know what it holds. It's basically to show the Cobra logo. And then we have her rifle. And this rifle became pretty iconic. Alright, you got this long stock. It actually does have the trigger guard. Here's your grip, which is kind of just like an oval. You have a magazine, not removable, so don't try it. It's got the scope that goes across, and then you have your nice little barrel. Again, you're not going to have any blast effect, and that's perfectly fine, as you shouldn't. Alright. And on this side, you have what I do believe is the the safety switch. But this is one of those cool guns that it can look like a laser rifle. It can also look like it is an actual rifle that fires bullets because of the magazine. Ask for our Baroness. Well, you can look at her and you can see some real nice designs here. So looking at her hair, it is this soft hair. I have seen people that rip this off, and she just basically has that groove going down the head, kind of like the classified shipwreck. They gave her the glasses, and they just gave her round glasses. There's nothing on the outside. So you do have the eye, the top of the eye painted like we've talked, and clearly they gave her some lipstick. Now, well, we'll get into the articulation in a bit. Looking at her chest here, she has a chest plate. Nice Cobra symbol right there. Here you can see the latches that are holding this together. And then you can see her collar right here, and you can see where it's going to snap over. Now, looking down here, it looks like it is made to kind of move, just kind of like armor from an old-time knight. So this is supposed to protect her, and obviously the chest plate is a little bit different than a regular chest plate. Going down her arm, she has Cobra symbols right there, and then you can see the four fingers and thumb not broken. But the design is really different. You got this nice gauntlet that's going to go up here that goes into her glove. On the back, you can see the straps, and she also has that piece right down here So it's showing that it's 100% complete, not just on the front. All right, this arm looks the exact same. And then underneath, 3 little clips that's meant to hold that back piece together. So again, a lot of detail that none of us really noticed. When you get down right here, and we look at everything, I hate doing this, makes you feel like a creep. She has a Cobra logo right there, all right, that goes right down into her, into her nether regions. You have the belt that's going to run completely around. Now, there are no belt loops. That's a little disappointing. But if you look here, she actually has a proper drop-down holster. So it's dropping down into the holster right there. And then you have the nice pistol right there. There's her holster. And again, all you get to see is the actual grip. Going all the way down to her boots. They're running with the same aesthetics, okay? Just a little bit of lines. And this is more like some light armor, in my opinion, going all the way down to the boots, which you can see kind of collapse right around there, or not collapse, but cover. And on this side, we don't have anything, but we do have the same aesthetic. So you have the same aesthetic running completely from the chest all the way down through the legs into what looked like maybe a shin guard here. All right. So as for the articulation on this figure, well, it is an O-ring, but this is a female, so she does look side to side. Now, the hair is soft and pliable enough that it moves just a little bit, but you're still not going to get, well, you only get so much range of motion, so it's not that big of a deal. But this would be problematic if she looked up rather than just down. But she just looks side to side here. As for the T-pose, it's an O-ring, no problem. They swivel right here at the shoulder. You're going to get just over a 90-degree bend here with the elbows. There is no wrist swivel, which is very disappointing that they didn't come up with that many years ago. More disappointing that when they did the new Baroness that came with the Megatron Hiss, they didn't do that. O-ring, so she can swivel, she can move up and down, and that is the O-ring right there, and it has been replaced. She has this much of a Jean-Claude Van Damme, but as I mentioned before, they're supposed to be in the L position. I think they do a wonderful job. There you have your knees, 90-degree bend, so absolutely perfect. And now we want to arm her up. And once again, you look at the backpack, and you can see the angle. Now this one is a snake, so you know which one. But that backpack, all backpacks followed the small of the back and how it was supposed to set. This is another figure that if you cannot get this gun to set like this, don't do it. Do not press that thumb. If you think that thumb is going to break, just call it quits. Have it hang on the outside. It may look kind of stupid and ridiculous, but who cares? It's better than breaking this figure. There you go. That is your classic review of the actual Cobra Baroness. I don't know why I said actual, but I did. All right, so there you go. That is your G.I. Joe Cobra Baroness, Destro's girlfriend. At least in my opinion, that's how it's supposed to be. But again, this figure was pretty awesome. We've talked about this before. I don't really need to have more women in a toy line or anything. I need good figures, and if a good figure is a female, then awesome. As a kid, I never looked at this and thought, oh my god, it's a girl. Maybe others did. I know I didn't, and most of the people I talked to or played with G.I. Joe didn't think that. She was just a kick-ass character. We never really took into account if she was female, male, black, white, Asian, Native American. It didn't really matter to us. Just give us kick-ass figures, and we will definitely enjoy the character. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Tell me about this. Maybe this was the only female figure you had. Maybe you just needed her because Destro and her were an item in your mind. Maybe she was a turncoat. Maybe she was a traitor in your headcanon. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. There's a G.I. Joe movie, and you see what they did to her. Although the actress was spot on. Anyway, I think it's time to bolt out of here. please take a second. You've stayed this long. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. Now, don't go anywhere. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave another review to a classic video, and down here is going to be the playlist of all the classic reviews that I've done. Take care.